The Chicago Bears, the next team up for the Arizona Cardinals to face. And we do it Wednesday every single week when the Cardinals' next opponent is coming up. We turn the page and we start looking at the next matchup for this team. And we just give you the numbers. We tell you what the strengths and weaknesses are for this team. And we just put it on the table for you to just understand the team that you are going to see play the Cardinals on Sunday. Maybe you're not watching a lot of Bears football. You know that they have Caleb Williams. You know that you look at their record, you see where they stand in the NFC playoff picture and in that hotly contested NFC North, but maybe you're not watching them on a regular basis. You don't know what their strengths and their weaknesses are. And so this is our opportunity to give you that information. We do the work, we do the research, and we present it to you here on the show. And in doing the deep dive, it's really clear to me where this game is going to come down to for the Arizona Cardinals. We just waxed poetic in the previous segment on the job we think the Cardinals have done in the first half. That we're impressed that we're at this point, talking about a first-place team with a schedule that's favorable to them. They're, I believe, still the favorite in the game on Sunday. It was a 1-point spread when I last checked yesterday, and we did tell you to keep an eye on this spread to see how it evolved over the course of the week, to see where the money was flowing to. And I'm checking now to see if it has changed, if it has gone up from the 1-point margin that it was last week. Because if it grows, then you're going to start, then that will tell you how people feel. It's still -1 according to ESPN Bet. So you're not seeing a lot of movement right now, but the Cardinals still a small favorite at home. If we are to believe, like we do, or at least like the show does, that the Cardinals are turning a corner, that the Cardinals the last 2 weeks have broken out in some ways, and that there is a path that they are moving down to where they might be more consistent as an offense. They might be able to do enough defensively despite being undermanned to give themselves a chance to win football games, right? I think what we want from this football team is you give this offense a chance in the fourth quarter to win the football game. That's what you want. This offense with these skill players, give Kyler Murray a chance in the fourth quarter with the ball to try to win a football game. That's what you are asking of your defense. However the game script plays out, give the offense a chance in the fourth quarter to try to win the football game. And so I think they're on that path. I think that is what they can do more weeks than not. If that's to be true, and if we are to take what they've done the last 2 weeks seriously as them breaking out, if we are to take it seriously as it not being a flash in the pan, and then they're not going to immediately revert back to losing 2 and then, or winning 2 and then losing 2, and then there's being a mediocre team the rest of the year. If they're going to break through this and really take control of the NFC West, I think this is the game where you kind of show us something. Because I'm going to read you the metrics for this Chicago defense, and this is going to be a test. Chicago defense, 4th best in opponent points per game. 11th best in opponent yards per game. 6th best in opponent third down conversion. This is the best defense in red zone scoring percentage, meaning they let you get down into the 20s, but when you get there, you're settling for field goals. You're not scoring touchdowns. That's where you win and lose football games in the National Football League. You have to convert when you get down into the red zone. This team is 4th best in opponent touchdowns per game. This defense, it's not the 85 Bears, but it's a really good defense. It is a defense that statistically has made it difficult. And where they've made it the most difficult is passing. 4th best in opponent completion percentage on defense, 12th in yards per pass, 19th in pass play percentage, 8th in opponents' interception throws, meaning they're getting the ball via the turnover. Yeah, they're 6th in takeaways per game, 8th in sack percentage. This defense is good. This defense is going to be a challenge for Drew Petzing and Kyler Murray and company on offense. Now you look at the Bears offense and you think Caleb Williams, you think Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift. You just think of all of the skill players that they have, Cole Kmet, just everybody that they've got. 16th in points per game, 27th in yards per game, 27th on third down, so not that great on third down. But where they thrive, because they don't score a lot of points, they're middle of the road, 16th in points per game. So this is not going to be a track meet. It's not the way the Bears have played so far this year, still trying to find it all offensively. But what they do better than everybody but one team is when they get down to the red zone, they convert 68.4% red zone scoring. Meaning if they get into the red zone, nearly 70% of the time, 7 out of 10 attempts, they are going to punch it in for a touchdown. And so when I look at this game, the early takeaway that I have is if the Cardinals win the red zone battle, if they make the Bears kick more field goals in the red zone than they normally do, and if the Cardinals are scoring more touchdowns and they're kicking red zones when they get down there, then the Cardinals are going to be riding a 3-game winning streak. That is the stat that is just staring out to me. The Bears first on defense in red zone scoring and second on offense in red zone scoring. They are elite at both ends of this. It's why they have found ways to win. They stop you when you get down to the red zone. They make you settle for 3. They force you to leave points on the table, leave points on the board. But what they don't do is they don't leave points on the board. They get their money's worth. They get every single point that they can get once they get down into the red zone. So that's where this game is going to be won or lost. Is who can buck the trend when it comes to the red zone. Can this Cardinals offense score more than the Bears normally let up? And can they stop the Bears when they get down to the red zone more often than the Bears have been stopped? Because this defense is going to make it. This is what makes this defense so tough, is they're good overall. So they make it difficult for you to get down into the red zone. And then when they get there, it is a bend but don't break approach. And they make it impossible for you. And that's what having a defensive-minded head coach kind of provides, right? Is they're going to be stout down there. They're young. They're athletic. They make plays. And I still think this is a winnable game for the Cardinals. Don't take this conversation as me saying the Cardinals are not going to win. But when you break these teams down and you look at the statistics, you have to pick the one thing, right? And for the Chargers game, and we got this wrong. We've been wrong in the past on this. But when we talked about the Chargers game, we looked at, man, they run the ball really well and they stop the run really well. And that's a bad recipe for the Cardinals. It is, to this date, our top viewed short clip from the show of me talking about how the Cardinals match up terribly against the Chargers. I would like something to take over its spot so that that's not the first thing that people see when they look at the short form content that we have out there. I would prefer maybe something that we talk about this week, a positive thing that I say, not me looking like an idiot. But we've been wrong in the past on this. But for me, the statistic that I'm going to take away from this first look is the Cardinals have to win in the red zone on both ends of the field. Their defense is undermanned. Their defense needs reinforcements. We've talked about it. They need to get healthy. They need to get people in the building. But they need to have a bend but don't break approach. What happens in between the 20s? Okay. But when they get down into the red zone, this Cardinals defense needs to show up. This Cardinals defense needs to come through. This Cardinals defense needs to leave points on the board for the Bears because the Bears have thrived there. It's what's allowed the Bears to be successful. And it's this Cardinals defense, 12th in opponent red zone scoring. So it's not like they're terrible. They're middle of the road, but they need to be better. They need to play above their stats so far if they want to win this football game. That's our first look at the Chicago Bears, what they've done well. And listen, we can talk about red zone, but at the end of the day, you've got Caleb Williams, first overall pick, an exciting offense that has talent. So it's not going to be easy to beat this team. But if you want to point to one thing that the Cardinals need to do well, win the red zone. Not the red zone with Scott Hansen on television. Win the red zone on the field. Stop. And I don't want to say stop. Hold the Bears to a lot of field goals. Force them to kick a lot of field goals. And when you get down to the red zone, you need to cash in. You need to be hitting on 60% or more when you get down there. If you do that, I think we're talking about another Cardinals victory on Monday.